So, it's another stunning day down here at the beach at Northern Rivers of Australia. Why am I at the beach all the time these days? Well, other than the fact that it makes me happy. Well, maybe there's a good scientific reason why it makes me happy, other than the fact that I feel like I belong on the beach. It's always been my home, having been raised in Nelson in New Zealand. So what might be the scientific reasons I feel happier on the beach? Well, let's have a look. I'm getting sun. So what does the sun give me? Well, it gives me some, particularly at this time of day, which is midday, I'm getting the midday ultraviolet light, which gives me my vitamin D, which is particularly important at this time in the world for my immune system. This vitamin D helps my macrophages recognize the viral attack. But it's not just about vitamin D, because the sunlight also, because otherwise I could take a vitamin D supplement, but I don't. Why is that? Because not only do I get vitamin D from the sun, but the blue light, which is high, which is, as you can see, there's a lot of blue light. And remember, blue light is not a problem. I'm a big anti-blue light guy, but I'm anti-blue artificial blue light, which is isolated from the other light spectrum of the sun. So I'm getting lots of blue light now with the sun high in the sky because it's further away from the earth. And that blue light, when it interacts with my skin, is exciting my T cells. It stimulates my T cells of my immune system. So sure, I get vitamin D, which makes my macrophages tear viruses apart, cathelecidins in the macrophages tear viruses apart and then present it to other T cells to make antibodies for. But not only does that, it excites the T cells in my skin, gets them working harder, which is always really good. So I'm getting vitamin D from the UV light. I'm also getting excited T cells from the action of the blue light on my skin. What else am I getting other than sun? Well, I'm getting really good air. Air down here, of course, is filled with high levels of salt, which is good for my lungs. While I'm here getting good salty air for my lungs, I'm also practicing my breath work. If I want to keep my lungs healthy, then I need to learn how to breathe properly. And in yoga, that's called PRANAYAMA, which is different forms of breath work to help my lungs work better. I also need vitamin A, because vitamin A keeps my lungs free of infections, and I need good healthy fats in my diet to make the surfactants to keep my lungs healthy. So I'm getting what am I getting? I'm really getting good salty air. I'm also getting negative ions. What's a negative ion? Well, it's a molecule with extra electrons. So I'm getting extra electrons. Of course, electrons get fed through my mitochondrial electron transport chain to give me more energy. So I get the negative ions, and there's a lot of negative ions down in places where water crashes. When water crashes, either waterfall or the beach with the waves crashing on the shore, then you get lots of negative ions. But speaking of the mitochondria, just in case I want to talk about the mitochondria, not only am I stimulating, giving my mitochondria some electrons from the air and also from the ground, which we'll talk about in a sec, getting the electrons to pass through my mitochondria to produce ATP. I'm also getting the infrared light and the blue light and the full light spectrum, which communicates with my mitochondria and tells them what time it is, also gives them information from our environment. So we always talk about our 5 senses, but the fact that we've discovered mitochondria free in our blood now, which almost certainly appear to be being passed around in the bloodstream from organ to organ, how our organs communicate with each other, because we're not a collection of organs, we're a one organism which is able to communicate from organ to organ. But we now also know, and how cool is this, that our mitochondria, which I am stimulating at the moment by being down here in this natural light, not only do the mitochondria produce energy by passing electrons through them to produce ATP, but they also produce a substance called itaconazole, which is directly antimicrobial. So our mitochondria, if we treat them right, produce their own antimicrobial substance. And when you think about it, of course, they're ancient bacteria, billions of years old. Well, bacteria have always had to protect themselves against attack. So it's natural that bacteria produce substances to protect themselves. And we're just harnessing that giant pharmacy in our body of a quadrillion mitochondria, which is a pharmaceutical antimicrobial production factory, our own, and it costs nothing other than walking on the beach. So I'm getting the sunlight, I'm getting the negative ions, and that's called the Lennard effect. If you want to have a look, L-E-N-A-R-D, the Lennard effect. Oh, have a look at this. Because not only am I getting lots of sun, I'm also getting food, which I'll talk about in a sec. Because today, you see that? There's kelp everywhere. Kelp everywhere on the beach. Bonanza of kelp. So I'm getting sunlight, I'm getting negative ions, I'm getting mitochondrial stimulation, I'm getting my vitamin D. Also got a ton of water to get into, which is cold at the moment. So by getting in the cold water, I'm also stimulating even more mitochondria and making them work more efficiently. By getting in the cold water, I start converting white fat to brown fat, and I get more efficient mitochondria because they shrink, and therefore electrons pass through the mitochondria more efficiently, producing more energy. So also with the water, I'm getting a source of food, which is seafood. And we now know, we know that one of the huge benefits for me for getting seafood is getting the fatty acid DHA. DHA is the only lipid we know of which converts a light energy, hello the sun, into an electrical energy which communicates with my brain. We'd be completely stuffed without it. So I'm getting this amazing source of food for us, which is DHA, and I'm also getting an amazing source of food, which is kelp washing in all over the place, which also provides my brain with the iodine that it needs to function properly. So I get DHA from the sea, I get iodine from the kelp. Of course, iodine also crucial for our immune system because it also is directly antiviral and good for our immune system. Also stops viruses from bursting outside of our cells if they get into our cells. And they also help selenium actually stop the iodine. No, they don't do that. They help the selenium stop the virus injecting its dirty frickin' DNA into our cells. So iodine is directly antiviral. Iodine stops the viruses getting into the cell, and even if they do, viruses can't cause a problem unless they burst back out of the cell. And that iodine, which I'm getting from the kelp for free off the beach, stops that. So I'm getting good sun, I'm getting good air, I'm getting cold water thermogenesis, I'm getting food from the ocean and the beach. I'm also getting grounding. So we talked about how there's electrons in the air, the negative ions, which are good for my lungs. Salt air is good for my lungs, but also by putting my bare feet on the ground. If you're on the beach, take your shoes off, you're getting a free dose of electrons from the earth. And also, what I'm also doing when I'm getting those free electrons, I'm also passing out, letting any abnormal, non-native electromagnetic frequencies pass through me. And so finally, the last great thing about being on the beach is that most beaches are fairly remote. Well, this one is anyway, and it's very low EMF exposure. So I also get to escape from the non-native EMFs. And as I've talked about before, the Earth has a electromagnetic frequency of 10 hertz called the Schumann effect. And we also, our bodies, surprisingly, have electromagnetic frequencies of 10 hertz as well. Now the exposure that we're getting now from non-native EMF is in the order of billions of hertz. So when I get to the beach, not only am I escaping those for the time being, of course, I'm also letting any that I get exposed to pass through me directly into the ground. So this whole concept of earthing or grounding. So what am I getting at the beach? I am getting great sun, I'm getting great air, I am getting cold thermogenesis, I'm getting food from the ocean and from the beach. I'm grounding myself, getting free electrons, and I am escaping all those non-native EMFs. So thanks for listening. I'm going to go grab myself some kelp off the beach. It's an absolute fantastic day for kelp collection. Hope you're all doing well. Stay happy, get to the beach, get some sun. Have a great day.